Welcome, everybody, back to Friar Talk. Today, we are recapping Game 3 of the Phillies Padres series. It is a brutal loss tonight. I mean, I think that Chase, Isaac, me, we are all pretty upset after this one. I'm in a little bit, not to start it off because I don't think it matters the most, but I am going to get into an umpire rant, and this is not going to be a pro Phillies, pro Padres umpire rant. This is going to be an in general umpire rant because I feel like I haven't really talked about how I feel about the umpires at this point. I don't think it was really a deciding factor in this game, even though that Jerkson profile play was bad. I think Joe Musgrove got a couple calls, but overall, this was an extremely frustrating game, I think, in this one. So, Isaac, Chase, what are you guys feeling after this massive L in Game 3?
I don't even know where to start, man. I mean, I'm a mix of emotions right now. You look at it from one standpoint, and you're at a 30% chance to win this series now. More often than not, the winner of Game 3 goes on to win the series. The winner of Game 3 in a swing game, where the swing game being tied series, and the winner of Game 3 goes on to win it 70% of the time. Doesn't really matter that much. The Padres are a good team. They've handled adversity very well all year. And you look at it another way, it's the Phillies just used all of their best guys tonight. I mean, Sir Anthony Dominguez, what was it, Alvarez, something like that. They used
Jose
all their best
Alvarado.
guys. Right. And they used all their best guys tonight. So it's like it's not the worst thing in the world, considering now you're gonna have to go. Now you go up against a full bullpen tomorrow. You got to win tomorrow. It is a must-win situation. I will tell you, it is a must-win situation. These next two feel like must-win games. Now, unfortunately, whether you want to say it's unfortunate or not, Mike Clevenger will be on the bump tomorrow. Mike Clevenger's last start against the Dodgers, not very good. Granted, that's against the Dodgers, who he has struggled against. I promise it's a Mountain Dew. It's not. But he has struggled heavily against the Dodgers this year. I don't know, man. It's a mix of emotions, considering I do think we should win tomorrow, but if we don't, it's looking very gloom, and that's why winning today's game was so important. Because like, you're facing Ranger Suarez. Who is that guy? Seriously, like who? That's the most frustrating part, is you had Joe Musgrove on the bump, and don't get me wrong, Joe Musgrove was not very good today. A lot of two-strike pitches that were hangers or fastballs down the middle that the Phillies were able to take advantage of. And you can look at Juan Soto's defense, you can look at him not being able to hit at the plate, you can look at the umpire not making that call for Jerkson Profar, but one of the biggest differences was Joe Musgrove not being able to put hitters away with two strikes, because the Phillies were able to take advantage of those bad pitches, put the ball in play, get those base hits, get those doubles, and those turned into big innings. It's hard to blame. Please don't come at me saying Joe Musgrove got us here. Joe Musgrove got us here. I'm not trying to rip Joe Musgrove. I'm just saying this is a big difference in terms of you put those hitters away. Maybe it's not that big of. Maybe it's not a 2-run lead. Maybe it's a tie game. We don't know. But that was definitely a big difference. The Padres leaving so many runners on, another big difference. And overall, I mean, can somebody tell me how many times the Padres put the ball in the air today, or put the ball in the outfield? Because I seriously don't know. It was not a lot. A lot of soft contact, a lot of ground balls, and quite frankly, even though he hasn't hit very well, I thought the Padres took Will Myers out of the game too fast. I thought the Padres put themselves in a position where, I mean, they were lucky it didn't get to that point, but if they would have won a lefty back-to-back on Jake Cronenworth and Josh Bell, you would have been screwed. You should have left Will Myers in for another inning. Not only because of that, but because he had already hit two shots, he hit one to the warning track, and I believe another pop fly. A pop fly gets us to the third run right there. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm mixed right now. I have a mix of. I think we should win tomorrow, but this was a crushing loss.
Yeah, I sort of disagreed with the whole Myers thing right there. I thought he was hitting the ball well, and it just was going to people. I know Drury got super unlucky. I believe it was in the 8th inning. It may have been in the 9th. He hit that shot up the middle so well. he had rocked that pitch, and the pitcher just made a really good play. He gloved it. It fell out of his glove, but it was right by the mound, just enough for him to get.
We got a Padres ad on our
That-
channel. It's sick.
But other than that, you were right. It was a lot of weak contact. The Soto versus Alvarado, that sort of made sense. You know, he's a lefty. He's one of the best lefty relievers in the game against Soto. He did his thing. He went the other way. But outside of that, the guys look lost at the plate. Against Dominguez, against Alvarado, they looked lost. They were swinging at junk. They were watching pitches right down the middle of the plate. I think the first pitch against Cronenworth, and I believe it was against Dominguez, was a 96, it was a 94, 96 mile power fastball straight down the middle of the plate. Couldn't be like more center of the plate. It was the perfect pitch for someone to swing at. That is your pitch. And he watched it for a first pitch strike. I think what the Padres are doing is they're being way too patient at the plate. They're not waiting. They're waiting for their pitch, but they're waiting too long. Like, I remember seeing a tweet in the first inning because I was at work when the game first started. It was the Padres saw 7 pitches in the first inning and struck out backwards Ks twice, 2 looking Ks in the first inning. They didn't swing the bat once, and I think Machado was the first person to swing the bat. You can't have that. And then I know Juan Soto had pretty crappy defense, and there was another tweet I saw because I didn't get to see it. It was the Alec Boehm hit. I know he misplayed it, but there was only like a 10% chance that he was actually going to catch it. So I don't know who gave Soto that Gold Glove nomination. I see Devin mentioning it, but I think they're on crack.
Flat Life does owe us lunch.
Yeah, that was my comment right there. That Flat Life does owe us lunch. Don't think we forgot that one right there, bro. I need some lunch, honestly. I need a sandwich right now. But okay, I feel
No. He doesn't just owe us lunch. He owes us beer too.
He does owe us beer.
All right, I'm with it. I think today was one of the most just annoying losses of the year. I feel like if I'm looking at it, and we've seen some. Okay, of course, the MLB season is very up and down, right? But you guys brought up the outfield hits. How many times did the Padres drive the ball into the outfield? Very few. Chase, you just brought it up right now. The approach is way too patient. Like, you have to find the balance between being patient and also being aggressive at certain times. And it felt like when the Padres were aggressive in this game, they were hitting one hoppers to second or weak balls in the infield. Like, it was, they weren't driving the baseball. It was very few times where it felt like they were able to take advantage of a 3-1 count or a 2-0 count or a 2-1 count. Anything where they had it was a batter advantage count. So I feel like this was one of the most irritating games that I've watched. I think there was a couple things that kind of go into play with it. I feel like I don't want to knock Musgrove. I don't think Musgrove really looked that bad. I think there was a couple just big time hits. Segura had a huge knock. What was that? The 4th inning, I want to say, where he ended up getting that 2-run single. That one was absolutely brutal. And it was a great hit. It was a great hit because it was out of the zone. It was a slider. He went opposite field, and it was just like, all right, let's just kind of hang with him in that one. But outside of that, like, most of this falls on the offense. Most of this falls on you're not bringing guys in. You're not being aggressive. You're not taking advantage of having guys in scoring position in a lot of different moments. And when we look at this Padres season, that's been the critique that we've had every single time is you're very patient at times and it works out well, but you're also too patient at times and then it ends up not working out. Now, I don't know, dude. It's just frustrating because, like, I think that there's spots where, like, it's very good and, like, you see, like, a very, very good at bat, but then there's other spots where you see a guy come up to the plate and he's down 0-2 real quick because he doesn't swing at 2 pitches in the middle of the zone. I saw Jerron, he's not even in the stream yet, but he was texting in the Discord earlier. Basically, like, when Crone is at the plate in the 8th, he took 2 pitches down the middle.
Oh my
And
god.
you guys know that we are huge Jake Cronenworth fans. But that one hurt, bro. Like, you see those pitches and they're like right down the pipe. You have to connect on those. You have to hit a gapper on those. And if you just hit one double where, okay, let's say you don't even score. Let's say you have a guy on first and you hit a double and there's guys on second and third. Completely different ball game, completely different situation. The pressure is on for the reliever, but it never really felt like that. It always felt that like the pressure was kind of on, but not really. And I think that's ultimately why the Padres end up losing this game. You guys already talked about it. This is a huge deciding factor in a series. Game 3 is I believe it's a 71% win percentage if you win game 3 to win the series. The Padres lost this game. The Padres should have won this game. They have a massive advantage in terms of starting pitchers. They have Jake Cronenworth against Ranger Suarez. I see you guys laughing. I'm not sure exactly why, but I'll have to check the chat right now. But I don't know. I'm just frustrated on these. This was such a bummer. I feel like I just feel like I don't know, dude. It's just frustrating because I feel like this is one that you are expecting to win, and it just felt like you didn't execute at a high enough level to win the game, and it's really just on you.
And I see a lot of people talking about trade Soto, don't trade Soto, but we're not saying to trade Soto. We're just saying that I think overall our feelings right now are we really like Juan Soto. We think he's going to be a very valuable piece of the Padres these next few years. But he hasn't hit for power at all this series. He has no home runs. And that's going to be one of the biggest deciding factors for this Padres team, man, is that in that ninth inning, you were a dink and a drive away. And right now the Padres don't have any source outside of Manny Machado to get that drive. Nobody's hitting for power. Nobody's doing it right now. So that's what's killing the Padres is. Am I missing somebody? I know Bell and Drury went deep yesterday, but that was one home run for each of them. Sorry, not yesterday, the day before.
I guess you can say Grish, but Grish is
he's like 0 for 10 or 0 for 11 in his last year.
I know you're missing.
He's either home run or nothing.
Yeah.
You're missing one guy.
Who's that?
The best player on the team. Because I was told repeatedly that Soto was better than Tatis. Bro, what the fuck are we talking about, man? I'm sorry, but like, what do you guys feel like? Because like I keep hearing that from everyone. Oh yeah, Juan Soto. Bro, like, okay, I really like Juan Soto as a guy. I like all the Padres players. I feel like, okay, maybe there's a couple of guys that frustrate me a little bit. Profar and Grisham frustrate me a little bit. I still love him, but like, bro, Juan Soto has been disappointing. There's no way around it. Like, I still believe in him long term. I still believe in him on the Padres, but like, there is no other way to describe the Juan Soto experience so far in San Diego as disappointing, right? Like, am I wrong there?
No, man. I agree. I mean, his biggest moment has definitely been the shot to right field where he tied the game against the Dodgers. Other than that, we just need more, man. I mean, we just need more. Like, yeah, it's great. You're moving guys over. You're getting your singles here and there. You're walking, but comes a time where your team needs some power, and when you're supposed to be the team's best hitter, you need to go up there and provide some power. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong. I saw someone up here saying that you guys act like it's easy. No, throughout this whole channel, we've known it's not easy. We've known we've played baseball. We know how hard it is. We know that. And we always give guys the benefit of the doubt because we know it's a hard game. We know that, all right, this guy's been up against a guy that's really hot lately, or, stuff like that. We've given everybody the benefit of the doubt. Lately, I could probably say we're one of the most positive Padres channels on here or on YouTube, wherever you go. We're very positive. But we just need more from Juan Soto, man. I feel like it's not asking for much. We give up so much to get him, and we just need a little more. I mean, defensively, I didn't expect him to be very good. I never expected him to be very good defensively, but we just need some more power at the plate, man. We need some more power. We need those drives. He has protection too. I feel like there's no excuses for him. He has lineup protection where Jerkson Profar normally hits ahead of him, and he's been very solid. Manny Machado right behind him. he has lineup protection. Ha-Seong Kim hit ahead of him today, has very good numbers against lefties. He has guys around him. We just need him to hit. And maybe maybe over the offseason, we see the report. His back has been killing him lately. You know, the way Darvish's back was killing him last year. Maybe we do see that report, but at the same time, like, dude, we're in crunch time, man. We're trying to go to the World Series. But you know, it's a lot. It's not just Juan Soto, man. It's not just Juan Soto. It is multiple things. It's Joe Musgrove not being able to put away the guys. I thought he pitched a solid game. I mean, Gene Segura hitting that little dink over the second baseman was bullshit. But I thought he pitched a solid game. There was just times he couldn't put away the guys and leaving a lot of runners on, man. I mean, that Josh Bell double play killed us. A lot of things killed us tonight, not just Juan Soto. Don't blame just Juan Soto.
I get the frustration because I think I've mentioned it. It was either on one of the last 2 live streams. What was the last time Juan Soto has hit a home run in a Padres uniform?
Jesus Christ.
Tell me.
And there was no better time than tonight,
August?
bro.
He hasn't hit one this month. Maybe early September? Right? Maybe.
I'll check for you guys right now.
If it's been since like early September, that's like almost a month and a half, where we traded this guy who's supposed to be one of the best slugging outfielders in the game, and we haven't gotten a single part of it. So yeah, I know we mentioned how, the way you can describe the Soto experience in San Diego, it's been nothing but a disappointment, and it's true. We traded for one of the best hitters in the game for him to not hit power, to not hit any sort of power. I know you can attribute it to parts of it to Petco because we are one of the worst hitting parts of the MLB, but on the road he hasn't been much better. You play half of the games on the road, half the games at home.
October 1st against the White Sox is the last time he hit a home run.
Almost September?
Almost September.
Oh my God. That's a while. It's like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you guys right now. Look, I believe in Juan Soto long term. I believe in this whole Padres team long term. I don't know, Chase, Isaac, I don't know if I've even told you guys, but I'm thinking about coming to San Diego for like a few months next summer. I really want to just be there for like next year, like, because I think it's like one of the most hyped up Padres seasons ever. And I really want to like live in San Diego for that moment because I've stayed in San Diego when they've sucked, but like I want to be there when they're really good, But dude, there's no other way to put it. Like out of everything, if we look at every single player across the board, I feel like Juan Soto, Josh Bell are the only guys that have not exceeded expectations. Those are the only guys I'm really thinking. Maybe Mike Clevenger too, which is terrifying because he's on the bump tomorrow in Isaac, you said it, a must-win game, and I think it is a must-win game.
Jesus Christ, dude.
But dude, like it hurts. It hurts for Juan Soto. Like I think that like when we're looking at like he's struggled. There's no other way to put it. And I want him to succeed, but I like him too. I see Luis says that right now. Like, yeah, we like him, but he has been awful. Like, and I don't think he's been awful, but he's been awful fielding wise, and he's been average offensively. He's also been the most unlucky player in baseball, so I get that. I'm gonna account for that, but it is frustrating, man. It is frustrating. Yeah, Cole, I got you on that. Cole, I got you on that because it was kicking back a lot. But I don't know, man. It's just frustrating because I feel like the pitching this postseason has been so good, but when we haven't got a big performance out of Manny, it just felt like the offense has not stepped up, and that is the one guy every single night you feel like if Manny delivers, okay, the team is going to play well. If Manny doesn't deliver, then the team is not going to do enough and they're going to lose. It feels like that is the one guy that everything is dependent on every single night. And give credit to Manny because Manny has carried this team to the NLCS. that is extremely impressive. But if we take him away, who else on offense has really come through clutch? Jay Cronenworth has come through clutch in a bunch of big time moments. And we've had guys that come in left and right. Soto's had a couple big hits. Ha-Seong Kim has even had a couple big hits. Like Brandon Drury's had a couple big hits. But like outside of that, it's really just been dependent on, is Manny Machado balling out? And if he's not, this team has struggled. There's no other way around it. So I think it's really, really frustrating at this point. I see a lot of people talking about like he's a $500 million player, all this stuff like that. I don't want to get into that tonight. I really don't. I think it's playoff time. I think we're talking about, game in, game out. I get the conversation. Don't get me wrong. Like, I understand why people are frustrated with it, but it has been extremely frustrating this postseason to not see the offense perform at the level we thought they were, when the pitching has been so much better than I think the overall expectations were this offseason. Am I wrong, or what are you guys thinking?
No. I mean, it's been an overall disappointment so far. I mean, it was just a few days ago that they put up, what was it, 8 runs, something like that. So it's like this team has the capability of bouncing back. I think we've talked a lot about Juan Soto rather than the overall production of the offense. And yeah, Juan Soto has a lot to do with it, but when you're getting no production from Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, Will Myers, I felt like should have had a hit earlier. Brandon Marsh made a really good play, but even then, you could throw Will Myers in there. It's going to be hard to win games. Those are 3 guys that you need at least two of them in the lineup. And it feels like all of them have probably hit 150 in the postseason. So it's like you need more than that. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's an uphill road up from here, but the Padres can do it, bro. We know the Padres can do it. Like, yeah, everyone can say, game 3, if you win game 3, you got a 70% chance to win the series. You know what team you're playing? You're playing the Phillies. The Phillies, I don't want to say they're like the Mets, but in a way, yeah, they're like the Mets. Like they might choke it. Another thing is that they used all of their best weapons tonight. You tie it up. Let's say you win game 5. You come back to San Diego up 3-2. Let's say you lose game 5. You still come back to San Diego with the chance. Just come back to San Diego, man. Bring it back to San Diego. The point is tomorrow you got to win, though, because if you lose and you face Zach Wheeler in a game 5 in an elimination game, yeah, you're setting yourself up for failure. You got to win tomorrow. So I don't know how Mike Clevenger is going to do. Mike Clevenger is going to be the biggest what's the word I'm looking for? He's going to be the biggest difference in the game. I mean,
I was going to say, are you looking for like wild card? He's
the
wild card tomorrow.
Difference, wild card, whatever it is, all of it. And his last outing against the Phillies, he threw 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs. So pretty good outing. Hopefully we get some more of that, man. Still a lot of ball left.
So I got a question for you guys. Realistically, how many innings do you want Cleve to go? I'm okay with a solid 4 innings. I don't want to push it for 5. Yeah, I think we all agree 4. I think our bullpen is going to be fine. You get 4 solid innings. If you get 4 innings, no run ball from Cleve, I think you win tomorrow. If you get 4 innings, 2 run ball Cleve, I don't think you win tomorrow.
Yeah. 3. Shoot, I'd be happy with 3.
I mean, I feel like, okay, we've seen how good the Padres bullpen has been. I think 4 is ideal. I see Lover of California says 3. Lizzie says 4. I said 4. Isaac, you said 4. I think 4 makes the most sense. But we've seen that when starters go past 5, they tend to struggle a lot more. Just, third time through the lineup, as we all know. But also, like, at the same time, like, it's kind of tough because, like, I see that, and then, like, they pulled Ranger Suarez today, and my immediate thought was, you're really going to pull Ranger Suarez after he's looked like that? It's the same feeling of, like, when the Dodgers pulled Tyler Anderson. Mm-hmm. So it's tough. Like, is your guy cruising? Because if if Clev comes out and he's cruising, he looks really good, it's going to be a lot harder to pull him after 4 innings than if he's looking really good compared to if like even if like he's allowed like 1 or 2 runs and like he's allowed a bunch of hits, a bunch of walks. So I think that's kind of like the question mark there. But I think 4 to 5 innings is pretty ideal. I don't think you want him to go 3. If he only goes 3, that's an issue. I think it's a big time issue for your starter, but 4 or 5 is probably ideal in my opinion.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. 4 or 5, get them. I'd say probably once or twice around the lineup, maybe 1.5. That's going to be an optimal outing for Mike Clevenger, considering how bad he struggled lately. But I see people talking about Sean Manaea. I don't know if I want him up there, even if it's after Mike Clevenger. Sean Manaea not only has not looked very good, but the splits compared to righties against lefties for the Phillies are in favor of they hit better against lefties. And it's not by much, but they do hit better against lefties. And you could say, how do they hit better against lefties? Bryce Harper's a lefty. Kyle Schwarber's a lefty. So some of their best guys are lefties, but I don't know. I mean, they just hit better against lefties, I guess. And Sean Manaea is not exactly a guy you want up there in a pivotal game. So we'll see how that goes with Sean Manaea. I don't really feel like the bullpen is exactly taxed. I mean, you're able to throw Luis Garcia tomorrow, Robert Suarez tomorrow, Nick Martinez tomorrow, Josh Hader tomorrow. I mean, you got a lot of guys that could throw tomorrow, and today they didn't exactly throw their best guys. Who did they throw? Pierce Johnson, Tim Hill. Shoot, I forgot the rest. Did they throw anyone else? Tim Hill, Pierce Johnson. I forgot. They'll Matt or Chase will let us know right now. But they still, they still have really good bullpen arms, and it's easy to feel down about this team right now, considering you're down 2-1. The winner of this game wins many times, whatever, 70%, who cares? But overall, the Padres still got life. Just those two, but cool. So you got all your arms basically available tomorrow. But Padres still got life. If they're able to win tomorrow, very confident, very confident.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want to go do is go down 3-1. I know there's been some miracle teams that have come back from 3-1, but that's way too stressful on us fans, man. That's way too much. Going 2-2, you'll be fine. Going 3-1, you can go 2-2 and lose a game and then win 2 in a row. Winning 3 in a row against this Phillies lineup is sort of hard to do. The Phillies got hot at the right time. They're playing the best baseball they've ever have right now. So you definitely cannot go down 3-1.
Dude, I agree. I mean, I feel like today was a bigger game to win even than yesterday. And yesterday you're going down 2-0. That's what I honestly felt, because I think you had such a big advantage in terms of Suarez versus Musgrove. So this loss hurts. And I think like we're all kind of we all feel that way. I mean, we see the energy tonight. I think it's a little bit different than a lot of the past streams that we've done. Wheeler and Darvish would be for Game 5. I see Devin Sween or commenting that right now. And that's why tomorrow is a must-win, because we just saw what Wheeler looked like against the Padres. It was brutal. It was really, really brutal. So you lose tonight. I felt like tonight was a very, very pivotal game to determine who's really the team that's I don't want to say like winning the series necessarily, but more like taking like in the driver's seat for the series, where all of a sudden the Padres are not in the driver's seat. And Isaac, we talked about this when the Padres beat the Dodgers. They had, they've shown so much resilience over the course of the season that we feel a little bit more comfortable, I think, going into the series. Like, you're down 2-1 now, but still, you still don't feel good when you lose a game like this, just because it hurts. You have Clev on the mound. Clev has not been good over the past 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever that is. And now you're in a game where if Clev loses, you have to rip off 3 straight wins. And if you don't rip off 3 straight wins, you're out. So this is a must-win game tomorrow, and you're not in a spot where you have an advantage in terms of starting pitching. Where tonight you had that advantage and you did not take advantage of it. And we saw the Padres. I don't even want to say the Padres like choked or anything, because I felt like the Phillies. Honestly, I felt like the Phillies kind of choked in a way just in terms of their defense. The Padres were only in the game because the Phillies played so bad. Segura had that terrible play where he bobbled the ball. That was an obvious double play when Jake Cronenworth grounded out. And it just felt like the Padres were always hanging around when they shouldn't have been. And if you end up winning this game, all of a sudden you're up 2-1. You shouldn't have been up 2-1. You end up stealing that game, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, we have kind of like house money on Clev. And then you feel like it, like, oh, we have Darvish, Snell, Musgrove. That's how your feeling is. But instead you lose the game, and it doesn't feel the same way. It feels like, okay, we're in a must-win game with Clev. If we don't win, then we have to rip off 3 straight. And it feels like you're really in the hole, more like ever to end this postseason, where it's just like, it's rough. It's honestly rough. So I feel like right now, like, and I'll ask you guys, in terms of keys for tomorrow's victory, 1, do you think it's a must-win game? And 2, what do the Padres have to do to win it? Because I personally think it's a must-win game. You're going in tomorrow. Your offense has to show out. You have to win this game. You have to stay alive in the series. What do you guys think they have to do?
I mean, it's a must-win game. There's no way around it. You can't go down 3-1 and then you have to face Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. You're probably losing one of those games. So you cannot afford to go down 3-1. You got to win tomorrow. But the main thing I think they got to do is they got to hit for power. Somebody's got to hit a nuke, man. Somebody's got to hit a home run. And I think maybe a lot of people have adapted to this, but there's still some sort of thing where you don't have to hit home runs to win baseball games, but the Padres kind of do. Yeah, they didn't do it too much against the Dodgers, but the Dodgers didn't really do it at Petco. So it was like neither team was going deep. But the Padres need to be able to hit for some power tomorrow. Hitting for power tonight would have been a complete game changer. You're either tied or you win that ball game if you hit for some power tonight. And that's what the Phillies do so well. In both games that they've beat us, they've been able to get a lot of extra base hits. You look at game 1, 2 solo shots beats us. Today, a few doubles here and there. They get a home run early from Kyle Schwarber, beat us today. So not only being able to hit for power, but being able to limit the power on the other side, being able to prevent those extra base hits. So overall, I guess you could say hitting for power and preventing power is going to be the key for the Padres tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going with Isaac here. You got to hit for power. You know what the Astros have been doing and why they've won basically every single game in the postseason? They keep hitting home runs. They outpowered their opponents. The Yankees have lost 2 games in a row just because the Astros keep hitting home runs. The Mariners lost because they couldn't prevent the Astros from hitting home runs. Even if you get past this series against the Phillies, you're going to have to face the Astros more than likely. And guess what? The Astros do better than any team in baseball right now. They hit for power. If you can't do that, then you're going to be lost either now or after this series. No matter what, these bats got to come alive. These bats got to hit for some power. I like what Romeo said. I think all our all-stars need to shine tomorrow. Our stars need to figure out what to do and get on top of it. Because, yeah, Manny has carried us here, but he needs some help lifting up the team now.
Yeah, I'm with you guys there. And I think also, like, you guys talk about the power. Well, tonight, the Padres had 0 extra base hits. They had only singles and walks. Meanwhile, the Phillies had 2 doubles from Stott, a double from Castellanos, a double from Bum or however you want to pronounce it, and, of course, the Schwarber home run. So you had, 5 extra base hits compared to 0? Who do you think is going to win that game? We know who's going to win that game. We've talked about it before. We talked about it all last offseason of that the Padres, the biggest thing they can do is add to that. They did add to that, but the guys just aren't producing right now. So that's the difference in winning a game and losing a game. And especially tomorrow because you have Syndergaard. Syndergaard is very good. I think Syndergaard is a great pitcher. However, if we look at the track record, if we look at what he's looked like lately, He hasn't gone deep in the games. They're using him almost more like an opener than like a true starter in all honesty. So he's probably going 5 max, probably 3 or 4, and you have Clev. The Padres traded so much to go and get Clev, so they really, really need him to deliver. We talked about it before, and Chase, you weren't here when we talked about Clev after the Dodger game, but Isaac and I were not too happy about Clev's performance after the Dodger game. This is a great way to go right your wrong after that game. This is a great way to go do it because I think you guys are right. This is a must win in game 4. If you don't win this one, it is going to be tough. I see people talking about, hey, we can go 7, we can win in 7. I agree. But you have a lot more leeway if you win this game and you go 2-2 and you have to win 2 out of 3 opposed to winning 3 straight in the last 3 games. So I'm all with you guys. I think I think tomorrow's a must win. I think in terms of this series, I've kind of been hesitant to call any game a must win. I thought about calling tonight a must win, but I think tomorrow's a must win. You have Zach Wheeler on the mound the next day. We saw how good Wheeler looked against the Padres. I'm calling tomorrow must win, and I think they have to go ahead and they have to deliver in this one.
Yeah, I think if you're not calling it a must win tomorrow, then you're way too optimistic. Because beating Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola in back-to-back days is a tough task. But yeah, man, I mean, I got nothing more to say. Must win tomorrow. Need to hit for some power. You need to hush that crowd up, man. You need to hush them up fast, and you need to show some resilience tomorrow because now you're down 2-1, and this whole postseason, this Padres team hasn't been down. They were tied with the Mets, ended up winning the series. Yeah, they lost game 1 against the Dodgers. Other than that, they took 3 games in a row from them. And now you're down in the NLCS where you got to go 3-2 in these next 5 games, or even 3-1 in these next 4. But well, not even 3-1, 3-0. So either you got to go 3-0, 3-2, something like that, or 3-1. So I don't know. You guys know what I'm trying to say. But it's a tall task for the Padres to do, and I feel confident in them being able to do that. They did, if I remember correctly, they lost the first game to the Phillies when we played them in April. Blake Snell pitched, looked absolutely horrendous, and they took the next 2. So hopefully we get some more of that today or tomorrow and the next day. Hopefully the next day. But we'll see how this goes, man. I'm still confident in this team. I'm not ready. You can't give up. You can't give up. This is literally your only hope. This is it. This is how you can't give up. As a fan, you cannot give up.
We've made it this far. We're not stopping for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? This team didn't play to the way that we wanted today. But hey, this team has come so far. They've lost a lot. They dealt with the whole Tatis not coming back, Tatis getting busted for steroids, him getting suspended for that many games. You dealt with injuries to each players. You dealt with a lot. You dealt with Manaea getting blown up every 5th game, Clevenger blowing it towards the second half of the season. You've overcome a lot. You can still overcome this. Yes, tomorrow's a must-win game tomorrow. But like you said, the best way for Clevenger to right his wrongs from the last couple months of pitching is to put it all on the line here and pitch his heart out.
Yeah, guys, I can't agree more. I honestly don't feel like I really have that much else to say. Isaac, Chase, anything else you guys want to add before we bounce out of the stream?
Go Padres, baby.
All right, tomorrow must win. We got to see Clev. We got to see him show out because if there was a game that we had this big trade for Clev, tomorrow is the game that we needed because this is going to be a deciding game in the series. It really is. And if the Padres are able to win tomorrow, they're at a much better spot to be able to take this series. Today was a huge loss. If you come back tomorrow and you win that bounce back game, complete different dynamic. But it's rough. It's rough. So we're going to need Clef to ball out tomorrow. We're going to need the offense to step up. We're going to need Juan Soto, Manny Machado to do their thing. And if that's able to happen, then the Padres are in a good spot. If not, let's be real, they're not in a good spot. I mean, they can still win it, but it's definitely not a good spot. So that's all I got. So guys, thank you for hopping the stream. I think we're gonna call it a night. But hopefully the Padres are able to pull it out tomorrow. With that said, thank you all. Have a great night, and let's fucking go San Diego.